Hello, this is Jared, and I wanted to share my fish tank. I made a video previously and I came off a bit aggressive in it, and I'm going to end up taking that down and redoing it. But what I wanted to talk about in that video was the fact that this tank is done with RO water, RODI water. And that's a huge controversy, and I wanted to let people know that you can use RO water. But we'll save that conversation for that video. In the meantime, this is my 75-gallon freshwater planted aquarium community tank. I've put a lot of work into this tank and I love it. It's very, very, very much so perfect to me. I've got all sorts of fish in here. Some duckweed back there. I got the guppies. This thing sticking out is the return line for the filtration system I just built, and I will get to that in this video. Some tetras, sharpays. So far, every one of these fish in here, look at these two killies doing a little mating thing. That's my male, big old male. And then in here, there's a little baby guppy that I found in my filter. I figured I'd see if I could get him to grow out. That's him right there. Come on, focus. Yeah. Swimming around under the leaf. So, yeah, this is my tank. Okay, so I'm gonna go into, this is the last part, and then I'll talk about the filtration. There's a golden mystery snail back there. Okay. Alright. So to start, I use an Aquatic Life Edge. .48-inch light. And then this, I built this, and there's about 1,000 holes in there, and I drilled every one of them. And this allows me to disperse the suction right here over a larger area. Basically, you can see there's no plants sucked up to it. I have 750 gallon per hour pump running, and it doesn't even pull the plants over, which is nice because there's water suction here. But I guess see whatever. It looks like some algae blowing in the wind right there towards that. So there is suction here, but this way I'm not going to be finding any more babies, little babies, floating around in my filter. So it comes up from there, right here, and then my suction starter comes down, goes into chambers. So there's a ball valve and a union, and I built this system so that everything is compartmentalized and I can take everything apart as I need. I've got a nuclear canister filter. It's just got a big, it's like a air filter for a car, just a big circle in there, and then I've got biomedia inside of it. And my CO2, high pressured with the regulator. By the way, I've had like 4 or 5 different regulators, and this one right here was my favorite. It's the best I've had so far. So that comes out, goes up to a ball valve. There's another union there, another union there for the pump. And here's my pump. And I built this so that the pump is suspended off of the ground slightly, so that I don't get any vibration. So this camera's sitting right here and it's not vibrating at all. That's, again, a 756. I don't know if that's even going to zoom on there. Whatever. 756. And that comes up. There's another union, another ball valve. This one is more for flow control. And then we come up here, and then there's another pressure gauge. And the reason this pressure gauge is here, let's see, that's where the CO2 goes in. That's got flow control valve on it for the CO2, sort of a backup thing. But the reason for that pressure gauge right there is because this is a CO2 reactor, and I can unscrew it there, and then there's ball valve, and I can unscrew it there too if I want to. But I have this tube right here is filled with I don't know what to call it. It's like sponge media stuff. Like you get it in a big roll, and it's basically like sponge. It's a sponge type media mesh. That's the word I'm looking for, mesh. And what that does, so the CO2 comes in at the top and the flow goes down through this, forcing the CO2 bubbles to go down through this media in here, and it disperses and diffuses it. So then by the time it gets back up to the tank, it's fully blended in with the water, and I don't have gas off. It doesn't come out of my return head and just go straight up and float away. So it's more efficient to have that for CO2 purposes. And then anyways, it comes down and it goes up through this pipe to another union, and then to that, which is an inline heater, which is far more efficient than just having it sit in the tank. This way the return water is always the same temperature. Yeah, and then it comes out, and there's another union right there, so that I can take the heater chamber out and service it if I need to. And I built it so that the cap on the top, I can just unscrew that and pull the heater out if I need to. And then that comes back around. And I installed these fancy LEDs in here too that I got for like $8 on eBay. Gave them their own power strip, so I can just clip, 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 clip. Okay, anyways. Yeah, and then that goes back out. And then comes out right here. It comes up, and then this is a compression fitting, so I basically just unscrew that, and then I can take this whole component out, and I can unscrew it here. I can that way basically I can rebuild it and make changes, and I can modify any one single stage in this whole system. I built it so the whole thing can be changed and modified constantly, because, you know, I mean, this kind of stuff, it's always changing. I'm always making changes and trying to find out what's better and what works better, and by the time I get it dialed in perfectly, I'll already have another tank. Then this is my little CO2 drop checker. If you're gonna get a drop checker, go with a glass one. It looks way nicer. Yeah, I love my duckweed. I actually just blacked out the back of this. I put some pillowcases back behind there. Oh yeah, and I got pothos up here. And this heater I'm still using, even though it's kind of like crap, but it's because I replaced the silicone bead around the heater that I do have on the cap. I don't know, it's complicated to explain. Maybe I'll just show you. Okay, so this is the other heater. There we go. So see how that's all siliconed in there, and then there's a rubber gasket, and then this cap, it's silicone right here too. So then this cap goes in and slides in and screws on all nice and tight, and then it puts this heater right smack in the middle of my return line, which yeah, it's way more efficient this way. And I got this little thing right here that keeps the heater from touching the end of the PVC. There's another one, but I actually don't know what I did with it. But yeah, so that's the inline heater. Yep, so then it comes back in through this, and every one of these joints is movable. I can twist them all around and bend them and change them, and I actually I made it with two of these vent cap return things, and as soon as I hooked it up, I liked the flow a lot better out of this one. And this is a 75 gallon, and I have 750 gallon per hour pump at full capacity, and between the two of these, having both of these, there was little to no flow in the tank. Like, it was just so open and so dispersed, and so I capped that middle one because I wanted the flow to come up here and create just a small amount of surface tension, because this tank is so heavily stocked, and because I dose CO2, I need to make sure that there's a chance for the CO2 to leave and be replaced by oxygen, more so than what the plants provide, just because I don't want to kill my fish. But yeah, I really like how the pothos comes down inside. I have it so it comes like way down. There's like roots all through the duckweed up there. It's kind of due for a pruning a little bit. There's some more pothos. It's kind of right there, coming down. But this is my 75 gallon planted tank. I love this tank. I know this video isn't really like helpful or anything, but and I'm definitely not a master at all of this plumbing stuff and filtration stuff. It's kind of all new to me, but I just wanted to share what I did. You know, maybe somebody will see this and get some ideas and maybe get some encouragement. Basically, if you can do it yourself, you know, and save some money, or maybe not even end up saving money, but by doing it yourself, you can completely customize and do it exactly how you want it. And you know, with a little bit of knowledge of how everything works, that's all you need. You know, logic pretty much puts the rest of this together, so it's easy to do, and hopefully this helps somebody figure it out. But in the meantime, that is all for me. Thanks for watching. Bye.